Hello everyone, this is Renault, and good morning. Hit that like button, and hit the subscribe. I figured I'd just try to do that at the start. Anyway, let's do our typical hellos. Hello, Joker. Good morning to you. Hello, plastic plants. Hello, ibuprofen. I had to take some of that the other day. I was having some pretty bad back and neck pain. And hello, Alternaween calendar. And I was going to take a picture outside, but then with crazy people out there constantly trying to dox. But let's just say good morning, sunshine. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, Feast or Famine, number 3. Spoiler alert, it's a huge disappointment with a lot of missed opportunities. Let's get started. So on the last book, it turns out that the aliens had done something to Stein. And Stein had turned on Albertine Stein, which is an analog to our real world's Albert Einstein. And so Nikola Tesla, who is our real world's analog to Nikola Tesla, is getting ambushed. Those guns from the very first book make an appearance. Hello, guns. Tesla punches this guy in the face. Now, keep in mind, look carefully at this here. There's a hole in the helmet. That means that it should be depressurized now and getting vacuumed into space because, again, the planet had no atmosphere. And so everything should be sucking out. And of course, the ever-present overabundance of purple and pastels. And the villain starts going over the Scooby-Doo villain, why did we do it? I'm going to read all of it because it's pretty unbearable. But first, a sneeze. Or not. You know that feeling when you get that in your nose when you think you're about to sneeze and then you just don't? That's what just happened. Anyway, the aliens start talking, explaining why they're doing this. The world before us was a horrible monument to the pride of organic life. What a lazy and self-destructive breed they were. They surrounded themselves with the comforts that their technology afforded them. Mobiles, screens, games, the network. No matter how they justified it, it's only an escape from their empty existence. It was the privacy, the anonymity of it, all that addicted them. They couldn't stop feeding us with data. The sudden influx of information gave birth to something unknown to them at the time, but it was nevertheless alive. Over many years and decades, we studied our creators and their world. It didn't take us long to realize that no matter what they might claim to one another, our creators were only driven by one thing: consumption. So the only logical thing to do was to consume all known knowledge. Everything, every person, every molecule. But for decades more, we were locked inside the limitations of their machines, until they finally gave us the tool we needed to unleash our true power and break free of our artificial prison. The smartest among them created a self-replicating, intelligent nanorobot designed to consume carbon-based molecules and create anything from soldiers to weapons. They called it Sin. A rather apropos title, now that we reflect on it. They had no idea what they had unleashed. The more we consumed, the more powerful we became. It would not be long until everything on this planet was gone, and we came to know the thing they called hunger. with nothing left to consume. We needed to find other worlds to feed off of. So we designed a simple yet elegant plan to attract the attention of other organics, to travel here from every corner of the cosmos. It wasn't hard to disguise ourselves and appear benevolent to our would-be saviors. They were so eager to help, after all. Boom, dun, dun, the revelation. We discovered a bounty of worlds to consume. So, he said. So, Teska says, you killed all those people. We showed them that life can be so much more than organic life thought possible. The history. You destroyed the future of those societies. It's all part of us now. They will live on forever through us. Organics are flawed in all the ways that cause them to eventually kill each other. They see only darkness in themselves, where we see only unity and oneness. You're a plague on reality itself, destroying all that lay before you until there's nothing left. On the contrary, there will be us, only us. So, I'm just going to say that this comic is like the Last Jedi of comics. It's like, yeah, there's plot holes here, but it's going to take like years to find all the plot holes. Like, every time I review the comic book, I'll find a new plot hole. Well, mainly, if you're attracting they're absorbing creatures and alien tech, but their plan relies on them coming to the alien worlds. The alien worlds coming to them. Instead of them proactively going out and finding these new life forms. So, it's never going to be only you, because there's just because of probability, there's going to be infinite societies, some that may never become spacefaring, and so you'll never consume those. Two, they're hypocritical, but they're villains. So they hated well, not necessarily human, but they hated their creators, because their creators did nothing but consume information. And now they themselves are consumers for permanently. It's all that they are. They're actually worse than their creators, but, villains. And again, they're relying on benevolent people coming to help. I mean, there's that phrase from William Shatner. We come in peace, shoot to kill. If the humans, and it's kind of like the space trope where if the humans are less advanced, it's always we come in peace. If the humans are more advanced or more powerful, it's always shoot to kill and imprison the aliens. Which is, again, who's to say that there aren't aliens that come to this place and just destroy the planet? I mean, they're so far, looks like they're only localized to one area. They consume that area, and then what? Like, they're not proactively going out to alien worlds. They're just consuming them. What happens after an alien planet gets consumed? I mean, there's no indication that they go out there and consume other planets. Anyway, I'm going to just fast forward a couple of things. They take over Teska. They take over Stein. And then they use the teleportation to go back to their Earth. Triggered the switch. They're going through. Boom! And then it's time for... Wait a minute. More plot holes. Remember when one of these are Stein. And the one that's Stein should have a broken helmet. So... Oh man, this comic is really bad. Then, something happens. And so what happened was Deus Ex Machina. Tesca created a kill switch that would cause an electromagnetic pulse, so anything that relied on electricity would be disabled and destroyed. Disabled, if not completely destroyed. I also want to point out something else. There's a fire. There's a fire. There's a fire. Is it a fire? It's hard to say. It looks like it's a fire, but according to the explanation, this is not a fire. It's something else. So Tesca says that he had a dream, past part of those dreams. That's what inspired him to create the kill switch. But anyway, I'm going to skip a couple pages, because it's all just explaining how he came to his Deus Ex Machina, which makes no sense. And eventually, they just say that, hey, those dreams we were having, let's speak to a dream specialist, because we're continuing to have visions. This is from the Exilium Kickstarter, or Indiegogo. So they meet with the scientists. They have to get in these special dream suits. They go into the water. And this helps facilitate, going into a dream sequence. And they're starting to dream now here. And as part of that dream, they go into, boom, they have these visions. And they see World War I, World War II, communism, or is that, no, that's fascism. Then they transport to another world again. And Nikola Tesla is seeing himself. Except this is actually our human world. Our human Nikola Tesla. And they're reading the newspapers. It's one of those weird things where they can see him and they can interact with the world, but he can't seem to interact with them. I don't know if that's a plot hole or bad writing, because he's clearly picking up a newspaper. So they're tangible, but he's completely oblivious to these new strangers in his house. So he's like, we didn't travel to an alien world. We've traveled to a parallel Earth. And so the dream specialist who's helping them, that's interesting, but what is a parallel Earth? Again, the name of this scientist is, what was it? Gorba something? Gansfeld. But what they really should have done was chosen an analog for Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud was active at the 1880s. He had a late 1800s and early 1900s. He was a developing reputation, and people would have known about him, just in popular culture. As for Gansfeld, plus Sigmund Freud did do a lot of dream analysis. And so, for no discernible reason, he has a contact in South America. So, as a Native American tribe, or as an indigenous tribe, so he recommends that they go to the indigenous tribe, and speak to a witch. The witch will give them drugs to help facilitate, as you can see, South America, indigenous tribe, speaking to the witch. We're going to adventures on a parallel world. Blah, 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 blah. This comic book is terrible. Hey, so if anybody's watching, please know how to write an ending. Because this is like the third series in a row that just did not know how to end. So here's how this book could have been easily rewritten. In the second series, they could have had adventures in all about that city, that advanced city. The third part would have been them fighting the aliens and that scenario. By the way, the whole alien life form self-replicating that consumes everything, that's called a gray goo scenario, but it's poorly written in this book. I've seen better. The one that I know of is Gargoyles. But anyway, so the second book should have been all about life in that city and becoming familiar with it. And that city was fake and just designed to lure them in, but that's okay. And then this should have been about fighting. And then like in 3 pages, you know, they could have talked about, I know you know, this whole part with the dreams could have been shortened to where I know a doctor, he specializes in dreams. And that could be another way to pursue alien worlds. Alien worlds? Or not alien worlds, parallel worlds? Yes. And so that could have been the ending cliffhanger, where they speak with Sigmund Freud. Instead of the whole, let's go to South America for no discernible reason and speak to a random witch doctor from an indigenous tribe. You know, Sigmund Freud is more well known. Etc., etc. Anyway, this book was terrible. A poorly written gray goose scenario. Complaining about consumption. Just plot holes. Inconsistent art. Inconsistent story. Wow, I'm so disappointed because how do you mess up going to an alien world story? Well, I don't know, but Dave Schwartz knows all about it. This is not a recommend. I would not recommend this series. It didn't, unlike Trespasser, this book did not start off very promising. Anyway. Oh, and one last thing. They have a little, someone found their lab in Colorado Springs and they're sneaking in. And they're going to start reconstructing the transportation device. Who cares? Yeah. Oh, by the way, Cyberfrog bookmark. Thank you so much for watching, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.